Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth political analysis, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Today's topic is a bold one. Political analyst Sandile Swana has set the cat among the pigeons by accusing the United Kingdom of being a puppet of the United States. Even more strikingly, he's warned that key South African political leaders in the ANC and EFF could soon find themselves facing Western sanctions. Let's unpack this explosive claim and what it could mean for South Africa's political future. During a recent political roundtable, Swana didn't hold back. According to him, the United Kingdom no longer acts as a sovereign player when it comes to foreign policy. Instead, he argues, it mirrors Washington's moves almost identically, especially when targeting countries or leaders that dare to challenge the West's dominance over global political and economic systems. In his words, the UK is now politically indistinguishable from the United States. A strong statement, but one that reflects the growing sentiment among some African thinkers that Western powers are increasingly aligned in their efforts to police global dissent. But Swana didn't stop there. He issued a clear warning to the African National Congress and the Economic Freedom Fighters, two of South Africa's most prominent political forces, that their current foreign policy stances could place them in the crosshairs of US and UK sanctions. He pointed specifically to their vocal support for countries like Russia, Palestine, and Zimbabwe, all of which have strained or outright hostile relations with the West. Now, before we dive deeper, let's clarify what type of sanctions Swana is referring to. He's not necessarily talking about broad state-to-state sanctions, those are rare and often politically risky. Instead, he's pointing toward targeted measures, like freezing personal bank accounts, implementing travel bans, and placing diplomatic pressure on individuals. These are the kinds of tools already being used in places like Russia, Iran, and even in parts of Latin America. And here's where things get even more serious. According to Swana, these kinds of sanctions are increasingly used against political figures accused of undermining democratic norms, engaging in corruption, or supporting regimes viewed unfavorably by the Western alliance. In South Africa's case, the ANC and EFF's rhetoric around supporting Russia's geopolitical aims, siding with Palestine in its conflict with Israel, and maintaining warm ties with Zimbabwe's ZANU-PF government could be ticking all the wrong boxes in Washington and London. Let's pause and consider the geopolitical context. Over the last few years, the ANC government has taken a more assertive foreign policy stance, often positioning itself as a champion of a multipolar world. South Africa's participation in BRICS, alongside Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now several new member states, is a key part of this. BRICS has openly challenged the dominance of the US dollar, Western-led global institutions like the IMF and World Bank, and the idea that the West should always define the rules of engagement on the global stage. Similarly, the EFF has gone even further, vocally calling for the nationalization of mines, land expropriation without compensation, and the dismantling of Western economic hegemony. It's also no secret that the EFF sees US foreign policy as imperialist in nature, and its leaders have praised Russia's Vladimir Putin, Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, and even Cuba's Communist Party as examples of defiance against Western neocolonialism. So in this context, Swana's warning carries weight. These aren't just political opinions, they're stances that could invite real consequences, especially in an era where the US and its allies are increasingly using sanctions to shape global political behavior. And we've seen this before. South African diplomats were pressured over the country's neutral position on the Russia-Ukraine war. The Lady R controversy, where a Russian ship docked in Simonstown and was allegedly loaded with arms, caused a massive diplomatic uproar and led to the US threatening to withdraw investment and trade benefits. What Swana is highlighting is that we may only be seeing the tip of the iceberg. The ANC and EFF may believe they are standing on the moral high ground, aligning with liberation movements and opposing what they see as global injustice. But if Western powers view this as subversion or geopolitical antagonism, the consequences could come fast and hard and directly target individuals in leadership positions. As of now, neither the US State Department nor the UK Foreign Office has issued any response to Swana's comments. But their silence doesn't mean inaction. These diplomatic entities often operate quietly, and when sanctions come, they are swift, strategic, and largely irreversible. Here's where things get even more complex. What would be the political fallout in South Africa if prominent leaders were sanctioned? Imagine Julius Malema or a senior ANC minister being slapped with travel bans or financial restrictions. It could trigger a wave of nationalism, deepen anti-Western sentiment, or even push South Africa further into the arms of Eastern alliances like BRICS. But it could also strain the country's trade relations, damage investor confidence, and isolate it on the global stage. It's also important to ask, is Swana's warning speculative, or is it based on intelligence from behind the scenes? Analysts often walk a fine line between prediction and insider knowledge. Swana is known for his critical views, but he also has a track record of accurate political forecasting. If his remarks are taken seriously, this could prompt internal discussions within both the ANC and EFF about how far to push their anti-Western rhetoric. At the heart of this story is a much bigger question: can African nations truly exercise independent foreign policy in a world still dominated by old imperial centers? Or are they always subject to economic punishment when they refuse to toe the Western line? Whether you agree with Swana or not, his comments have added more heat to an already boiling pot. South Africa, like many countries, is trying to walk a diplomatic tightrope, maintaining its sovereignty while engaging with both the West and emerging powers in the East. That balance is becoming increasingly difficult, and the coming months could reveal just how much room South Africa really has to chart its own course. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is the UK really just echoing US foreign policy? Will the ANC and EFF leaders face sanctions soon? And should South Africa continue with its multipolar alignment, even at the risk of Western retaliation? Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on stories shaping South African politics. See you next time.